Good morning.
Oh, mate. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. All right. What's this? Take 3?
Take 3.
Take 4?
At least.
How you doing, pal? What's going on over there?
Mate, I'm good, but I really want an argument today. Our first 3 have been so we've agreed on almost everything. So I'm hoping at least one of my points is completely controversial to what you believe in.
Well, I think we are similar enough that we're going to agree on. Well, what I've got here, I think we're going to agree on 1. I think we're going to agree on 2. I think we're going to disagree hard on another one.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think there's definitely one we're going to agree with that I've got.
Okay, cool. But this is spirited, isn't it? This is the problem in that everything in the world now is like tribal. It's them versus us, and this can be a conversation between 2 people who don't particularly like each other but respect each other, and maybe disagree on a few points. So it could be interesting. Today we're going to bring you our top 3. Each of us has gone through and we've made a list of 3 extremely unpopular opinions that we hold. What do you got? Give us your first one. What's your first top unpopular opinion that you hold which people might disagree with?
Okay, unpopular opinion number 1. Tracking your calorie intake is the best method of weight loss. I am so sick of people telling people not to track calories. Calories are bad. Don't calorie count. Mate, I have never had a bad result from my clients when they have tracked their calories using an app.
But have you not tried keto?
Whatever source of method of diet you choose to use, you can still have control and track your calories doing it. It's so fucking simple to track your calories using apps these days. So that's one method of tracking and probably the best method of tracking. But it's any sort of tracking really, like the good old fashioned food diary, like writing down what you eat over the course of 2 or 3 days that week, having a look at it, and then looking at where you can make some changes, remove things, add other things in. It's really simple, but that's a form of tracking without scanning anything. Okay. There's multiple methods you can use. You can look at food packages and just write down the calories and kind of get a rough idea. What we want to understand with nutrition is we're personal trainers. We are not nutritionalists. We are not here to set you an exact meal plan of what to eat. We can offer our advice. You can use it as a template. But our guide is just to get you using good nutrition habits and understanding food. So why, if there's tools out there that take seconds to use, would you not use them? Again, people with different genetics can get different results. People with different metabolism can get different results. So some people don't have to track as much as others. But people that struggle with it, I don't understand why you wouldn't use a tool that you simply takes a few seconds to log in what you're eating. How long do most people spend on social media a day? Hour? 2 hours? And you're telling me you haven't got a minute to scan a barcode and add in a few numbers? Or use MyFitnessPal how I use it. I don't actually scan as I go. I'll sit there the night before and I'll just plan out my food for the next day. I'll enter it all into MyFitnessPal. I then know how many calories I'm going to stick to. I know that my protein content is good and I'll try and follow it. Don't always get it right, but it's a simple method of having a very good approach to your nutrition.
It's hard. That's one we're going to agree on. I was told I was very argumentative in a Facebook post last year when I basically said I'm not prepared to have a conversation with you where you say to me, I've tried everything to lose weight. I just can't lose weight if you haven't accurately tracked your nutrition for at least a couple of weeks, because it doesn't have to be a forever thing. And this is the hard thing. But thinking like, I'm just going to cut out bread, or I'm going to cut out sugar, or I'm going to do dry January. Thinking that's going to achieve your results is not it. You need to measure it. Once you start measuring something, you can manage it. What gets measured gets managed. I say that 10 times a day to people. Without calorie tracking, it might not be the thing you want to do. It definitely isn't something you want to do for the rest of your life.
But it's
Can't disagree, mate.
But it's so simple, isn't it? And just going back to it quickly, we are ultimately after fat loss. Okay, we all train hard to try and build muscle. The people of us who are training, you can lose weight obviously without training, but we're trying to build muscle. We're after fat loss, not weight loss. So without tracking your calories, it is also very simple just to eat nothing and lose weight. the trouble with that is you don't really understand like your kind of macronutrient intake, which again can be tracked on apps or even manually through food labels, but it is much easier on an app, because when you lose weight, you lose muscle and you lose body fat. What we want to do is preserve that muscle mass and lose fat, right? So if we have an app which actually tells us that we're getting an adequate amount of protein in to preserve muscle mass, plus it tells us our calories, fat and carbs is kind of irrelevant. You can make them up how you want. But if you've got an app which actually tells you that you're getting the right amount of protein in and you're getting the right amount of calories to aid whether you're trying to build or lose weight, build muscle or lose weight, then why wouldn't you use it?
Yeah, can't disagree with that at all. I always have traditionally pushed people towards MyFitnessPal, but over the last year or so, I've pushed them towards, I don't know how it's pronounced, chronometer or chronometer, simply because it's the first two things it targets you on are calories and protein. It doesn't necessarily give you a fat or a carbohydrate, right? It gives you a calorie and a protein target. And it's what we want, isn't it?
Yep. If you know your calories and your protein and you can manage those, then you can get a fantastic result without guessing, which is what we're all after, right? Whether we can stick to it is individual, but use it as a food diary, understand portion control.
Yeah.
Don't have to use it all the time. Go back to it, refer to it if you're not losing weight, but use it as a tool because it's there.
It's worth mentioning as well that while there are hundreds of different like diet models out there, they all work by getting you in an energy deficit. Excuse me. So you will be in a negative energy position where you are burning more calories than you're consuming. It's about consuming less calories, and all these diet models will do exactly that. So why wouldn't we just go straight to the source and track your calories rather than gimmick it, if you get my drift?
100%. Tracking your calories will give you that understanding of food and nutrition, portion sizes, macronutrient intake. It's all done for you in a few seconds each day, or in a couple of minutes the night before. Job done. Right, next one.
Done, mate.
What is your number one?
Job done. So I think whilst that is unpopular, I think a few people that's going to be quite popular with. I'm going to go for my first one. I'm actually going to go with and place avocados on the list of unpopular things. They're very popular at the moment. They're very popular lately. I should probably start by exposing the benefits of espousing, I think is the word, espousing the benefits of avocado. They're extremely satiating because they're high in fiber. Like they'll fill you up with want fiber. They're full of monounsaturated acids. So monounsaturated fatty acids, excuse me. Oleic acid, ridiculously high in potassium. If you're going to have, I think there's about 1,000 milligrams of potassium in one avocado. So if you're someone who is conscious of your salt intake or your sodium intake, like sodium and potassium work in balance in the body. So if you are conscious of that, 1,000 milligrams of potassium in one avocado. My problem, with avocado, is the fact that it's so calorie dense, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, you need to eat an avocado a day." That's fine, but you're looking at like 400-500 calories per avocado. You could have a bit of cheesecake for less calories. And whilst I enjoy avocado, and I do eat it, I do eat avocado, so I don't want to come across as a hypocrite here, but I think people need to realise you're not just going to start eating these healthy foods to lose weight, because it's a 500 calorie fruit, and you put it on your toast, and it's if you're eating 3 meals like that a day, there's no way your calories are in check, and that's probably my.
No, I enjoy it when my clients come into me and they said, I've been really good this week. For breakfast, I've been having avocado and smoked salmon on toast or on sourdough. And I'm like, do you understand the calories in smoked salmon and avocado together? You're having fats with fats for breakfast, which is fine in portion control. But people don't portion control it. They will have a whole avocado. They will have half a pack of smoked salmon. That's never going to be good for you if you're trying to save calories throughout the day to try and lose weight. This, I think, comes back again. Like, you need you need good fats in your diet, unsaturated fats that are going to help you break down. With the fatty acid is going to help you break down vitamins and minerals. So fatty acid is essential in the diet. If you're eating a lot of high fatty, like if you're eating eggs, salmon, beef, a lot of these contain fat already. So if you're then adding additional fats through avocados, nuts, you're very quickly adding a lot of calories, even though they're good calories. And I think that probably comes back to what I'm saying with my first point about MyFitnessPal, because you can track how much of it you're having. My recommendation would be you need a minimum of 15% of your diet coming from fats to stay in a kind of optimal health point. But go on.
You say 15, 1-5?
Yeah, minimum of 15%.
Okay.
I would say 15 to 35% of a diet is good. But I would say you want a minimum of 15 because healthy fats obviously help keep your hormones in check and help you break down vitamins and minerals. So that would be my advice.
That's important as well. And the majority of the minerals you're going to get in your body are fat soluble, meaning you will need fats in it. They will need fat within the presence of it to be able to be digested and utilized within the body. And I don't want anyone to think here that I'm anti-avocado. I just think people opt for them with the wrong mentality. I'm always going to be a proponent of let's eat lean cuts of meat and add our fats, so we can control the type of fat we're consuming. Avocado would be a type of fat I would predominantly lean towards. But my problem I have with them is the fact that it's 500 calorie food that people just rely on. And also, did you know the hospitalizations of them?
I've got a good story, actually. Go on.
I Googled it when I was thinking of this top 3. I Googled it. In America alone, in 2017, there was something like 54,000 hospital visits from knife incidents with avocado.
It's a dangerous fruit, man. Don't look it in the eye.
Look, that's mental.
No, do you know my coach when I was doing the competitions? He went to slice into an avocado, get the stone out, and he went straight through his hand. So he obviously had this whole knife went straight through, so he had to have that bandaged up. And then a couple of months later, he actually tore his bicep deadlifting, and they think it was from the grip because he'd adjusted his grip because of it. So the avocado actually has a lot to answer for. Don't avoid them. Stay away.
Big time. Let's get rid of avocado.
Pick up some almonds instead.
Switch out some macadamia nuts.
We're not saying don't eat avocado, I think. We're saying just because it's good for you, you still have to be conscious of the amount of calories, because fat is 9 calories per gram and it can quickly add up and take you out of a calorie deficit. Good calories will still make you put on weight if you have too many of them.
Yeah. The prime example here is like this morning I'm eating foam bananas. They're delicious. But I'll be mindful on how many I have.
Just the 3 packs then for you today.
Yeah. I had some Dolly Mix as well before that. But
right.
The great thing about this, mate, as you were saying, it has a barcode. So I can just scan it straight in there. Piece of piss.
Flexibility. You can eat more food that you want to eat because you understand how much of it you're having. Flexible dieting.
Exactly.
Okay. My number 2. I'm going to say social media is more confusing towards fitness goals than it is good for them.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We like that.
Yes.
I'm going to say social media can be an extremely motivating place to help you with fitness results. I like watching people train, taking away things from their training that I think are useful, and just seeing people lifting indifferently. So that's how I use it for motivation. Like it does motivate me to see people training hard. However, our job as trainers is to listen to what you tell us you want and come up with a solution of the best and simplest way for you to achieve that goal. It is not to stand here and tell you, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, train this way, you can't train that way, this is the only way that works. It's irrelevant to each individual case. And social media, I think it's like the whole influencer thing. To be an influencer, you have to put out a message. As a trainer, I want to help individuals the best and quickest way I can help that individual. And that means listening to what they need. Before social media came around, training was very different. You'd listen to a client, needs analysis, right? You do a needs analysis, listen to what the client wants, come up with a training plan to suit them. That was it. Here's a training plan, and this is my nutritional approach. Now social media is here. You need a message. There's too much bad advice out there from people forcing people into a different way of thinking. We're telling you what you want rather than listening to what you tell us you want.
Yeah. And everyone comes to you now with like a already their mind. I want to be able to do this. I want to do this. I want to look like this. And quite often it's unattainable because the person you're looking at is on steroids, is a genetic freak. Right.
Ben is not on steroids.
Definitely not. But thank you for the compliment. I'd even go one step further on your point, and I would say that 99% of what you see on social media fitness is toilet. It's absolute dog shit. Would be my opinion. I think it's full of people doing dumb exercises to get clicks, to get links. I think it's a terrible place to be. I think half of the information out there is either incorrect, false, or downright dangerous, and that's the problem. I think social media needs more. I think it needs quality control, and I don't think there's any of it.
Yeah, I think anyone with an opinion can voice what they want to voice on social media, and that's the problem. And unfortunately, there's people out there who don't understand certain things, who listen to people who aren't necessarily thinking of them, and it's going to do them more harm than it is good. Like it really is. And I know the podcast is called Less is More, but it really is a case of just keeping it really, really simple. If you keep your fitness training boring and based around the traditional movements and the things that will ultimately get you into much better shape, but just keep it as simple as you can. You keep your nutrition nice and simple and fit it around what suits you and your lifestyle and what you're prepared to give up and what you're not prepared to give up. But if you can keep it nice and dull, which doesn't sell on social media and it doesn't look cool, then you'll get results. If you keep chopping, changing, listening to him, listening to them one week, I'm gonna go 100 miles an hour and change everything about my life, and don't do it. Just change your habit, change a few habits, week by week, and slowly progress in the gym, and that's really what you should be watching. It wouldn't sell. It wouldn't be good on social media.
No,
but that's what I would. If I could market anything, that would be it.
Yeah, I was just going to say exactly that because real good quality fitness, good quality results, is boring and it's repetitive, and that's the harsh truth. It's. I think I said this in one of the previous episodes. It's rotating through the same 20, 30 exercises until we eventually die. It really is that, and Chris and I both do exist in an online space as far as fitness is aware, and do rely on our livelihoods for like an online space. We could get a lot more traffic and a lot more attention on us if we did our stuff on BOSU balls, or if we just did stuff just for clicks and just for attention. But it's the wrong message to be sending. It's the wrong message to be sending.
I actually
99%.
Sorry, mate, I'll cut you off. Say 99% is shit. Yeah. Keep it boring. Keep it simple. Keep it around what you have time to do and what you're prepared to do, and what your lifestyle lets you do. You can all get good results, but keep it simple. Doesn't have to be a trend. You should just be looking to get stronger in the gym and fit your nutrition to your goals.
It was us that was talking about program hopping the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, not on a podcast, but I don't think. I think we were just talking about it.
I might have been voice notes we were talking about it, and it's a bugbear of mine. People jump on a program and skip too quick, because I think social media is guilty of that, because there's just so people go, oh, I'll do this today and this tomorrow and this the next. And as from my point of view as a trainer, if I wanted to make my life incredibly easy, I would make every workout completely different. Everyone's workout, one week to the next, would be completely different. My life would be so easy just coming up with programs like that. The client would probably enjoy it, but they wouldn't get results, and that's the problem.
Yeah, too much change. Progressive overload means you can change variables and you can change, accessory exercises around, but you do want to progress on something until you can't progress on it anymore if it's working. Once you hit a plateau, you might have to change things around a little bit, but generally speaking, keep the basic lifts very, very similar. Try and progress on those, and then find a way of keeping it fun with your accessories. But boring is best when it comes to training.
Definitely. I tell you what, should we move on to my next point there? I'm actually going to jump to point 3 because it kind of falls underneath that. And my next point and my next unpopular opinion are burpees.
Good or bad?
Burpees belong in the bin. They're terrible. I hate them. Hate them.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. When I see people doing burpees on social media, it would put me off doing that. I would be massively put off by watching other people. I hate them. Like why?
Yeah, the whole burpee thing was invented, and I can't remember the guy's name. He was doing his PhD thesis at Cambridge University, and I can't remember the guy's first name. It's something like Royal. I think it's Royal Holloway Burpee is his name. That might not be it though. If I can remember it, I'll update. But he was doing his PhD thesis, and he needed a way to measure like heart rate and recovery before, during, and after exercise. And he proposed 4 squat thrusts. You basically stand up, you squat down, put your hands on the floor, kick your feet back, so you're in like a proper press-up position. Kick your feet back through between your hands and stand up. And he proposed that you performed 4 reps of that. But even he suggested that people shouldn't do more than four repetitions of that because of the stress of the movement. If you're deconditioned and you're not particularly in shape and not strong enough to handle that, any more than 4 repetitions of that, you are ebbing on the side of potential injury. So even the inventor of the burpee suggested that you shouldn't do too many of them.
I know many people I've spoken to, and they see burpees on anything, and they go, "There's no fucking way I would do that." It puts them off. I would say that burpees are a way of raising the pulse, and we know when we raise the pulse and heat the body up, we burn calories. So, yeah, they're like a cardio accelerator, I would say, but they're not one that I would ever use in any of my training.
No, good friend of mine's a CrossFitter, and he says to me, he loves them, and he's great, and he's actually quite an intelligent guy. And his argument for burpees are, well, you're going to fall over, you might as well learn to stand back up. So he has a terrible argument. That's like, let's look at prevention rather than cure. Let's get stronger at standing up and stopping ourselves from falling over, rather than let's train to get back up faster.
Yeah, but what if you can't get up with your legs crossed and without aren't you going to die young or something? Was that one of the things I heard? Then you need to fall over to practice standing up with your legs crossed.
That was a social media trend a few years, wasn't it?
I think it might even have come from one of those TV programs, like like the Twins, whatever one it was. I don't know, but what a load of bollocks.
Yeah. Burpees, as far as I'm concerned, can go in the bin with avocados and social media.
I can see a purpose for them when it comes to raising pulses in a place where you have limited equipment, but it's a big no from me. I just
I'm with you, but even it's a big no from me. But even there, I would probably still rather opt for anything over a burpee. Probably static Spider-Mans, alternating sides. Oh God, anything.
There's alternatives. There's definitely alternatives, and to be honest, anything with a burpee written in it would put me off. So that's I can go with that one. I can go with that one.
It's probably worth noting that a strong individual who enjoys them and is strong enough to handle the demands of it, they're probably okay. Like, let's look at the elite CrossFit level guys who are doing burpees within their, these guys are world class athletes. They can handle it, But if you're, Gem Pop 101, chances are you're not strong enough for a burpee. Put them in the bin.
I will give you that. I think newbies and it would definitely put them off, especially in a gym environment, like where people get a bit self-conscious, like the idea of them burping in front of lots of other people. There's better ways to do it, guys. I think that's what I would say.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. How are we doing time-wise?
We are about half an hour in, so let's wrap it up. Number 3.
Go on then, last one. What you got?
Machines are a very useful tool to build muscle.
Do you want to know? You see my number 2? That one.
Machines, waste of space, and what? Yes, and one-dimensional. Here we go.
Go ahead. Me.
I think they're a very good tool for building muscle. They are a way of isolating muscle groups. They are a way of focusing on that muscle group while you're training it. And if you can perform progressive overload, you're going to build muscle on that muscle. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at my argument, right? My argument. Look at the biggest, most muscular blokes and women that there are, bodybuilders, and I would say probably a minimum of 50, maybe probably more % of their training is performed on machines where they can isolate muscle groups and build muscle in that specific area. So there's no way you can't build muscle on a machine. My first 7 or 8 years of training was done in a gym with no barbells. Had free weights going up to maybe the 32s. I think you know that gym very well, as we worked there for a very long time. I built an amazing amount of muscle. So I just think that the premise that you can't build muscle without doing the big lifts and all your work on barbells is bollocks. I think for those people with injuries, for those people who have poor technique and bring other muscle groups into it, I think for those people who, some people aren't designed to squat, people with long femurs and we can, poor mobility, we can train our mobility. But for those people who really struggle with those lifts, I think there should be a clear message that you can still use machines to build muscle.
Yes, my point number 3 is that machines are a total waste of space and wonderful. But on the injury point, I would definitely agree. I think injury for an injured shoulder, hip, anything like that, it's free, it's very safe. And I would, for an injury perspective, I would say, yeah, okay, let's use it, let's be safe. Because even if you've got a bum hip, you've still got 2 healthy shoulders and 1 healthy hip. So it's not like you can't do anything if you are injured on that perspective. My problem with it comes down to the fact that you have this monstrous piece of kit which is bigger than my sofa, and it performs one action, and you can always, and by one dimensional, I kind of mean that any half decent trainer is going to be able to go, okay, is always going to be able to come up with an alternative which does the same or has bigger benefit. If that makes any sense?
Yeah. No, I get you. So you can do so. Is this a case of like progression and regression? So
yes.
Here's your optimal. Here's your barbell lift that you want to. Let's just take a barbell bench press. You might not start a client off on a barbell bench press. You're probably going to start them off on a machine. You might then take them to dumbbells. You might even then take them to an alternating dumbbell press. I would probably go alternating dumbbell press, then a dumbbell press for technique. Then you're going to take them onto a barbell. So there's progression and regression. But if you're not at number 4 and you can't barbell press, I'm going to tell people you can still build muscle on a chest press, on your way up there.
Yeah,
I also think. Oh God, no, you go.
No, that's your point. I'm rebutting it. Go on.
I also want to tell people that I am a strength and conditioning coach and I do bodybuilding. So I like to incorporate both barbell work, dumbbell work, and machine work into my programs. But I just think it's a very useful tool to isolate and build in the right area. I think if you're trying to take a movement to fatigue, complete total fatigue and failure, machine is always going to be safer.
Oh, hell yeah.
If you're going to perform something like drop sets, I would always favor machines because, again, it's safer, it's easier to maneuver the weights. So it kind of depends on your style of training as well. But for building muscle, I would say machines are a great tool. Yes, you're right, they take up a lot of space. And in all honesty, my gym at home, my studio, I don't have any machines. So I don't use any machines with my clients other than the cable machine which has a Smith machine in it. But so I'm not saying anyway, you also want some free weight stuff in there because you want to use your stabilizing muscles and improve joint health through the use of those. But yeah, I just think I hear a lot of crap that machines are terrible and they shouldn't be used, and everyone needs to be doing squats and deadlifts and barbell presses. You don't. To build muscle, as you get older and you want to prevent big injuries happening, machines are a great way to go. You know, me getting old now, I may well get rid of all the hard stuff and no. But there's I just think it can all be incorporated into a training plan, but don't listen to people that absolutely rubbish machines.
Yeah, I was in the gym for 3 or 4 nights ago, and 2 young lads I know quite well were in there training, and they were training triceps and hamstrings. By the way, triceps and hamstrings.
Great split. I like that. Good split.
And I was part of my session. I was doing some leg curls, but I was using sliders on the floor, just a bridge with a slider. And they were asking me about it, and I said, and bear in mind, they're sat on a seated leg curl, doing leg curls, and I said to them, well, give this a go, because it's actually a much more efficient movement. And it's something you could do absolutely anywhere, with just a sliding surface on an appropriate floor. They tried it, and they both went, we're sticking to this, that's too hard. It's like, well, if you're not strong enough to do the leg curl, why are you get stronger, and this will be more effective. Like, it's just, it bugs my beers. It bugs my, whatever the word is, but it annoys me that you've got these machines worth upwards of 10 grand sitting in gyms, which aren't as effective. And yeah, you are correct. Injuries, and from a bodybuilding perspective, it's almost impossible to get that mechanical tension that you want. In a lot of instances, they're always just kind of come down to me as if I had my own gym, I would rather try and educate people on alternative methods than spending the money. I'd rather use that money on education rather than the machine, if that makes sense.
Mate, it fits your personality, because you've never bought me a beer, you've never bought me anything that spends extra money. To be fair, neither of us fucking drink, so it doesn't.
I was going to say, I think I bought the coffees last week.
You did buy the coffees, I'm lying. But I totally get your purpose. So for me, like, people will argue my point because less mobility, like less functional, less range of movement. I disagree. I think we can get a good range of movement on machines. But what I would say is I do like a 5 to 10 minute warm up, which has a lot of different mobility exercises in it. I then do my strength work at the beginning, which for me, because I am at a level where I've trained for a long time and I'm quite comfortable with barbells, I will use barbells or dumbbells probably first in a session. But as I hit fatigue and I go through my session, I will use some machine work towards the end just to isolate the muscles that I want to work if I'm looking to do that. And I'll be happy with that as a program. So I get my mobility at the beginning. It's not a... I hate the word unfunctional and functional when it comes to training. You can be functional if your training plan allows you to be functional. If your training plan is completely one-dimensional, then you're going to lack certain things. But if your training plan incorporates mobility and movements in it, then doing some machine work to build muscle is not gonna. It's not gonna. What's the word? It's not gonna ruin your. I don't know. Don't know where I'm going with that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know what you're saying. The word functional is thrown around a lot in the fitness industry and in this space because people. It's a selling tool. It's a selling tool. But show me. You're about to take a drink. Show me a bicep curl.
Yeah.
Everything's functional. Absolutely everything is functional.
And bicep curls are extremely functional if you want bigger arms.
If you want bigger arms.
Then it becomes a functional exercise, does it not? What's your goal? What's functional to you and to what you want?
And if you look about it, a tricep actually attaches to the shoulder, the scapula as well. So technically a tricep is a shoulder movement as well. So...
yeah.
Train your triceps.
Unless you use a machine which isolates your tricep, takes your shoulder out of it. No, I'm joking. I'm just trying to put my point in the machine. Right. Have you got any more points, mate, or is that our 3?
No, that was my 3rd one. Avocados, burpees, and machines can all go in the bin, as far as I'm concerned.
Cool. Tracking calories, using machines, and social media.
Oh, yeah.
Would all be my kind of 3 unpopular opinions. But let us know. If you've watched it this far, leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Because everyone's got different opinions. That's the whole beauty of what we're doing.
Yeah. We need to hear other people's opinions on what they think needs to go in the bin. And if we disagree, as the professionals, which we've established we are, we will argue in the comments section.
Mate, let's leave it there. Let's wrap it up. I think that's a good one.
Yeah, good idea.
It'll get some people thinking at least.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Right.
Should we end it there?
Yeah. Thanks for listening if you're listening.
Yeah.
Peace.
Mum, nice to see you.